Let's run some cables. Alright guys, today we're going to be going over installing just a simple LED into the head of this guy that I've been working on. This is my 30-minute mission Spinatio. Now what I'll be using is some nano LED lights that I got from Evans Design, and I will leave a link to their site in the description below if you're curious about picking your own up. These are great, and there's multiple different sizes and different colors you can choose from. And I'm also using a small coin cell holder switch, this little doodad right here, which is really nice to have because you just flip it on and off whenever you want and have it on your desk, show it off when you want. But you also have a choice when you buy one of these if you want it to come with a battery or not. And trust me, go ahead and pay the extra $2 for the battery, because batteries can get expensive, and it's just nice knowing you got the proper one. It came with it, so you're all good on that. And oh, and also some heat shrink wrap. I won't be using this in the video today, but it's very simple to use. You put it on whatever area or wire you need, cut it to the length you need, and you just take a lighter or something like that and kind of go over it gently and smoothly, and it'll shrink up to it and keep everything in place. I won't be using it today because the kit is not yet painted. I'm just running the wires and getting the layout I need. And after I paint it, I will be using this to clean up the wires and everything, make everything look nice. Now, for tools that you probably want for this, besides the giant drill in the intro, is I have a few different, these are old dentist tools, and I picked these up at gun shows or whatever. Depending on where you're at, I don't know if you really have gun shows, but if you can get a hold of some old dentist tools like this, they work great for getting in between parts, because you will be dismantling and separating pieces to drill the holes and everything. And oh, and they do sell some, I believe, like part separator tools you can get on places like USA Gundam or New Type and places like that. I'm sure you can find one. And of course, a hobby knife always comes in handy trying to separate pieces. You'll see me doing that here in a moment. And I'm just tossing everything on my wires here. And then of course a drill set. Now this is one from USA Gundam. I love these, they work great. It's just a simple set, just about every size you need for doing gunpla for the most part. But you can also pick up something like this from Amazon. Straightforward. You just twist this, it'll tighten and open for you, and it comes with multiple different drill bits, which I still use these because these have some in-between sizes and things like that that this set here does not have. I think I got this like for $10 off of Amazon, so you can find something there like that and work just fine. But now I guess we'll get started on the head here, and I'll start kind of walking through the process of planning out and drilling holes and how you want to run the wires on your kit. And it's going to be different for every kit, just to let you know, but I'll show you the basics on this. Now, of course, before you get started, you want to kind of basically know where you're wanting to put this thing, and I'm giving him just a mono eye, so I want to have him kind of a little bit to the side, so I will be drilling a hole. Basically, you see where he basically has two eyes there, so I'll be kind of drilling a little off to the side here from the center, not quite in that eye, to kind of give him a slanted look. And as you're doing this, you want to kind of look at all your other parts. I've already taken off the parts that we don't really need and to be in the way while we're doing this. But kind of map out in your mind where you're pretty much wanting it to run, and also where it will avoid any pinch points or anything. So, of course, you're going to be going through the chest. I'm going to be running down through the torso here. And my plan is, I'm going to get rid of these legs, is have the wire coming out the back here at the bottom of the waist section here, and then of course I'll have it shrink wrapped and running out the back to the button battery and the switch. But to start off, we'll go and get this head tore apart here. Use the hobby knife, because it's a nice thin blade, kind of work it in between there and get separated. Alright, so I got the head separated here. Of course, here's the front half and here's the back, and I'm planning on drilling it right through here in the center where the neck piece, the ball joint, will be going up in there, because I believe I'm going to probably drill straight through the ball neck here and down into the chest. That way it hides the wires much better instead of trying to find a way to have it go around the neck and not be visible. That's probably the best way, because you want to hide them as best you can. You can't always have it hidden in a part like this, but you always want to do the best you can. So I got my smallest drill bit here. This is a size 1.0 millimeter. So I know it's going to keep kind of pretty much dead center, but not dead on the eye, so I'm going to do right there where the eye starts, I believe is where I want. Alright, now, got that hole simply drilled right through there. And seeing as I'm wanting this to go down the neck through here, I'm going to drill a hole right here in the center, but you can see where it's kind of blocked here with some plastic and things like that. You cut that out if you want, really, but I don't see much of a need to, because I can just kind of come right here and drill an angle off to the side and get that hole in there. Alright, now I got that drilled out. That's easy enough for the head. Now let's see if we can run the wire and see how this is going to look so far. See, it's going to place that right there off to the side. Then we'll run this down through the back of the head. Alright, now I got those all set up there. We'll kind of just make sure nothing gets pinched in between the pegs or anything when you're closing this up. And then just kind of get it in place. Line everything up. And simple enough, there's your head. You got the eye there, which is not really fully in place. Like I said, I'm just doing a mock-up right now. Get everything set in place and get it guided through. Now next is going to be the head here, or the head. We just did the head. The chest and the neck and everything. So I'm going to dismantle this real quick and we'll get into that. Alright, sorry I forgot to start recording again, but I've already got the hole drilled straight through the neck and it comes out right dead center down the bottom here. Hopefully you're able to see that just fine. So sorry I forgot to hit record on that section. But where that comes out right in the center is this little bit right in here, a little connection where it snaps in. So I'm going to try and I'm going to remove that little bit so the wire will run straight down through underneath that. So I got a little micro saw. We'll hack out that little bit there. Alright, so I did get that little bit right there in between sawed off, and you could use your nippers for that, but there's a chance of that kind of flexing the plastic because it's forcing itself in there and warping it a little bit. So that's why I recommend, if you have one of these or something like this, saw it out that way, because this is where the neck part will snap on and you don't want to mess it up and warp it and it won't fit quite properly anymore. Now I've attached a little bit of the torso here because I wanted to check and see how I wanted to line this up, and I think we're going to drill a little hole right here to the side so it'll come down right there and into the chest cavity. This is the back piece of the chest, right in the chest cavity there, and I'm going to probably come out right around in here somewhere, and then we'll worry about that. So I'm going to get that out of the way. I want to do that so I could see where I was wanting to go with this. So we'll start drilling right here, kind of going in at an angle, get it up underneath. Alright, so we got those two holes drilled right up underneath in there, if you can see that little pinhole, and right there underneath the where the second set of arms will go. Those will be kind of helping hide the little bit of wire that's coming around through here. So let's see how this all fits together thus far. Run this down through the neck here. And that fits perfect. Right, now we will run this through this little hole right here in the top. Maybe I'll get lucky and I can hit the second hole real easy. Ah, went straight through. Awesome. Now we will snap the head in place. Let's make sure you got that wire kind of going right in between those pieces so it doesn't pinch it in there, because these can be twisted and broken if you're not careful. Alright, that's all together pretty nicely. Oop. I'll get the chest piece on here. So far so good. Not seeing any wires hanging out anywhere. Hidden pretty nicely. Alright, now we're moving to the torso and the waist here, and this is where it's going to get a little trickier, because you see here it has a pivot point right through here, and then of course typical rotation here at the waist and everything. Now for me personally, after I finish a build and everything's assembled and it's all done, my kits usually go into one pose, the pose they're going to be in, and it stays that way. I'll take them down, dust them, they get moved a little bit in that sort of sense, but that's pretty much it. So for me, I'm going to already have the thought of what my pose is going to be. And if you've seen the last video, you pretty much seen what the pose is going to be in the end. So this is going to be turned a little bit to the side, not much. And this will be tilted some, but not much as well. And I'm going to take something as simple as just a pencil or whatever and mark the area kind of where that's all going to be sitting, and where the line will probably need to be, or where I'll need to probably drill for the most part. So let's make a mark there. So I'll probably be going through the top here on the waist, straight through, and I'll probably drill right out and through there, if you can see in there, and then right to this bottom part and straight through it and into a hole right there on just on the other side where I made that mark, so I'll know where I need to drill through that as well. Then of course in the end we'll be coming out right about in here, and we'll be pretty well set. We'll hook up a battery and give it a test and see how it looks. Alright, see if I can get this on camera here. Now you can see, like I said, I was going to drill in through the top right here and then come out there, hit the bottom right here. So I'll be running the wire around the connection point right through here where that peg slots in. So take a little bit of finagling and get around there, but not that big of a deal. Now in the end, I decided not to end up drilling a hole through here because the way the waist all connects, I wasn't going to be able to really, without damaging the wire possibly, drilling through this and then running it through where it would meet up with the waist here. So give you a quick show how it's going to be. Go and have that tilted a little bit like I was going to have it, and we'll just slot that there. So you can see where I could drill that hole right there into the waistline right there. So the wire will come out from this top section of the torso here, through the little hole up underneath there, and it'll run right down into here, and then on out the bottom, which is where it'll connect out to the switch and the button battery. But that's not a big deal. Sometimes you're not really capable of hiding all the wires in it, and with the way this 30-minute mission is, he's pretty slim and pretty slender design, so it's kind of a little bit of a tough one. But that wire that'll be showing right through here, I'm probably just going to paint it when I assemble everything. That way it kind of blends in with the rest of the color the kit will be. So we'll get the wires run through this real quick, and we'll give it a test and see how it all works out. Alright, so I got them all put together here, and this is basically kind of about how his body, his torso and everything will be turned when he's finished and posed. So you can see right on here where that wire comes out from the chest, just a little snippet there of that, and then this little bit that runs across here to the waist, and then of course out down through here and everything, which I'm probably think I might later on putty that in and hide that a little bit better, but that's for another time. But these, simply the wires you can't hide. It's not hard. You can paint these the same colors, like I said, what you're going to paint the background of it, and the same with up in here. Plus that arm will be helping hide it, and plus you can also use that to your advantage as well. Hiding some wires sometimes is like the armor pieces and different things will be attached onto it after you've done all this. But I do have it wired up here. I've just got it held together with some alligator, or with my forceps. But we'll switch it on real quick. Oh, and hooking this thing up is really straightforward. The wires on the light are actually green and red. Red, of course, is power. Hook it up to the red wire on the switch. Then, of course, the black wire, the green wire on the light, is going to be the ground. So we'll flip it on. And you were on just a second ago. Okay, there we go. Wasn't thinking it was touching my other metal tools and it was kind of grounding the power out. But anyways, so in the end that will be glued off in there, kind of recessed a little bit, and then of course have the faceplate to go over it, which I think it goes this way. Just like so. But that's basically how you go about wiring it in. I mean, it's really not overly complicated. Now, of course, if you're going to be adding more LEDs than just one, you're going to need more power than a simple button battery. You'll need maybe a 9-volt or something of those lines. But really, a lot of people make it up more complicated than it is to be in their head. And it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, just plan your idea. See about where you're going to have to route it to get it to the point where you want to keep it as clean as possible. And then just make sure, like when you're drilling holes and how you're going to run the wire inside the body parts, that when you connect everything, reassemble it, that nothing gets pinched off in there in a peg hole or something like that, so you don't snap any of your wires. But that's pretty much it, guys. It's pretty straightforward. Hopefully this video's some help to y'all. And next video, I think we'll be doing some putty work on this guy. He's got a lot of hard points on this kit that I won't be using, so I plan on filling those in and smoothing them out. So I'll see y'all in the next one, guys. Later.